What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and your spiritual journey. Out here on my sunrise walk, thought I'd bring you along with me, yeah? I want to speak on the topic of the different levels of narcissism because they fall in categories, right? Just as the empath falls in categories as they grow. So, like the empath grows, so does the narcissist. I also want to speak about narcissism based on the element of their ascendant sign, yeah? Based on the element, yeah? You can also use it for the sun sign as well, because most people don't know their ascendant. So you can use that information for their sun sign as well. You can kind of figure out what their primary abusive tactic is based off of their sign, yeah? So I'm not saying these signs are that. I'm saying based off, I'm not even going to speak about the sign too much. I'm speaking more about the element, like earth, wind, air, and fire, right? So you have different grades of narcissists. You have the lower level narcissist, the mid-grade narcissist, and then you have the ultra narcissist. These three narcissists have different tactics on how they acquire their supply, how they steal energy, yeah? So the lower level narcissist, sorry, I'm on a hill. It's going to be hilly throughout the video, actually. So the lower level narcissists, they acquire your supply. Those are the ones that are like gnats. They're like flies. You're like, go away. They're just irritating, yeah? They may acquire their supply they're the trolls that are online, you know? They're the trolls. So they acquire their supply with petty stuff, you know? They're real petty. And they just want to trigger you to irritate you. What else might a low-level narcissist do? They'll try you, you know what I'm saying? They'll try you during dating you or something like that. They might get their supply, they just get the supply from petty stuff, right? The mid-grade narcissist is the one that's in your home, the one that tries to embed themselves in your home, yeah? Or they might embed themselves at your job. They might embed themselves with your children. Now, they too will take supply wherever they can get it, yeah? They will even get supply from a child, right? And so, they're the ones that you end up asking you to marry them or wanted to have a baby with you and things of that sort. The ultra narc will do that as well. But the mid-grade narc is the one that goes out to the bars looking for supply, yeah? Low-level narc will look online for supply. They all do the same thing, but they just at different levels, yeah? The mid-grade narc is where it starts getting dangerous because the low-level narc probably doesn't even have a chance with you unless you're a child, you're a young adult, you know what I mean? But the mid-grade narc is where they start infiltrating your personal life, your finances, your bedroom, things of that sort. And the high-grade narc, you'll never catch a high-grade narc online trolling in the comments or taking selfies and being the center of attention. Now, they are the center of attention, but they're not really, that's not where they get their supply from. The high-grade narcs are the ones that are your doctors and lawyers, high-ranking officials in the military, head of the police department, the judges, you know. Not saying that all of these professions are narcissists, because that would be a very inaccurate statement. But I'm saying that's where you'll find your high-grade narcs. Now, I made a video on certain spiritual tools you can use to let a narcissist know you see them that will deter them from even messing with you. Because they watch body language, they watch symbology, you know. And so wearing certain spiritual tools is a form of symbology, right? You're sending out a message without saying anything, yeah? Such as the mirror or the eye, yeah? They see that and they know that you're not one of the ones that they want that's going to be played with, right? So they may still try you, but they won't, they're less likely to try you, right? So that's a little bit of your magic that you're using to deter the narcissist. Someone who's not a narcissist, they'll be interested. Oh, I love your ring. I love your necklace, right? But the narcissist will be deterred because you know that you see them. Now, I want to add this because I recently learned this and I want to make sure I share it with you. When you're interacting with a high-grade narc, you're going to see your lawyer or you're going to see your doctor. And not saying that every lawyer, every doctor, every judge, I'm not saying everybody's a narcissist. But when you're interacting with someone who could possibly be in a high position, according to the 3D realm, you don't want to go in there with your spiritual tools on. You just use your third eye, right? Because you are at the mercy of these people. You're at the mercy of these people. When that narcissist sees that ring or that mirror, it causes a slight narcissistic injury. Yeah? Because whenever they feel seen, it causes a narcissistic injury. So you don't want to be doing that to the person that's about to give you your pap smear or the lawyer that's about to defend you in court, right? You don't want to do that to the person that you're vulnerable to. And by not wearing those tools, those outwardly tools, and just using your third eye, right? You can use your third eye daily. You don't have to wear the tools. But the narc will try you. And I'm just at the point, don't even try me. That's where I am, right? And so I just deter them. I see them with my third eye. But the narcissist doesn't know you see them with their third eye until they're up on you. I don't even want you up on me. Yeah, stay away from me. That's why I wear my spiritual tools. Now, when you go into these establishments where you need a lawyer or you're going to court with the judge, you want to wear your spiritual tools under your clothes. You don't want them to see that. I recently had an encounter with a physician's assistant. And my ring drastically disturbed her. Now, I'm not going back to this physician assistant because what she said disturbed me, right? She said, oh, I like your ring. And I said, oh, thank you. How does it make you feel? Well, my granddaughter would really like it. It's nice. It's got my attention. And I said, oh, okay. And then she went on to say, now this is someone who's going to be doing my well woman checkup, right? Then she goes on to say, well, we'll be nice to you if you're nice to us. Baby, you is not finna be in my sacred space talking, making a statement like that. A woman is never more vulnerable than she is when she's on the examination table, right? But I was able to pick up on her narcissism because she was offended by my ring, right? So when you're going into these establishments where you need a service from these people, you don't want to wear your tools because you don't want somebody who is a narcissist who's providing you with a service. They have the upper hand, right? What you do, you go in there without your tools. You go in there with your third eye. You see it. Now you have the upper hand. You understand? You overstand? Yeah. So there's different levels of narcissists. The low grade, they're the trolls, they're the gnats, they're the flies. They're just fucking annoying. The mid grade, they do the most damage because they in bed in there with you. And they could possibly be with you for years. Yeah, that's that mid grade narc. They're the bullies. That high grade, they hide longer because they have money to hide behind. And so they can abuse their victims and nobody will ever know about it because they trap the victim with money, marriage, children. Mid-grade narc does that too, but they don't have the money behind it, right? And so that the person they're abusing is more likely to have their own income and things of that sort. Oh, a feather. I think it's a peacock feather. Yeah, that's pretty. I'll leave it there. I have enough feathers, for God's sake. So they will, where was that? The mid-grade narc doesn't have the status behind it, right? They may have the looks, they may be good in bed, they may have got you married and pregnant and stuff like that, but they're not unleavable. Somebody might stay with a doctor or a lawyer a lot longer. Sometimes the empath is enduring the abuse because they feel like they are the narcissist's helpmate and they don't want his reputation or her reputation to be ruined. And so they stay there and protecting their reputation the whole time they're being abused, right? So those are kind of like some signs and symptoms of the different levels of narcissists, yeah? So how does this work with the elements and how a narcissist might abuse you, yeah? So let's start with Aries is the first zodiac sign. We're also in the Aries moon right now, yeah? So people are actually either going to stand up for themselves right now and say, wait a minute, I want to be first from here on out. Or the narcissist is going to be selfish and it's me, because that Aries energy is behind us. It's the harvest moon, right? A lot of people are going to have some drastic quick endings and some really quick beginnings. Like your calling could start at this moment right now, because this is Aries is the Fool's card, the Fool card. It's the beginning of the 22 major arcanas. And so people are either starting over or they're bringing something to an end. So be prepared to get catapulted. I digress. Let's go back to the fire energy. So fire. A narcissist that falls under heavy fire energy is the one that's more likely to physically abuse you. They're more likely to physically abuse you. They're more likely to use metals to hurt you. Yeah, like Aries is quick to pop off, right? They're quick to pop off. You'll be one place, the next thing you know, you're being hit. People see that I'm doing content creation and they want to listen, or they want to hear what I'm saying, or they got to speak to me. And so I don't know why that bothers me. You see, I'm talking. I could be on the phone with somebody for all you know. So anywho, people are people. So Aries energy might pop off and, hurt you, and then you have, you have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Leo, oh my God. They're so egotistical. They think that they're just egotistical. So let's just not go into the actual zodiac signs, because I don't want anybody to take anything personal. Let's just stick with the elements. So the fire energy is more likely to put their hands on you. Yeah, they're more likely to be physically abusive. Also verbally and physically abusive. So the water energies. So that would, the water energies, we're speaking about a narcissist now, not everybody who's a water energy, everybody's a fire energy. So of course, fire is Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. So if they're a narcissist and they say they're one of those, right? They're the ones that are likely to move real quick, move in there real quick. And they're also more likely to put their hands on you. Yes? I'm sorry, I was distracted. They like to put their hands on you. So the water energies, which is Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, they are more likely to abuse you emotionally, use emotional tactics to abuse you. Yeah. So, and Scorpio especially, because they have that darkness behind them. And so Scorpio can get real dark with it, yeah? Pisces can get, I said I wasn't going to use signs, but they're more, because water is emotional, yeah? And so they can be very emotionally manipulative. And these are the lower energies of the signs. So if I mention a sign, just know that everybody has the capacity to do this. These are the lower energies of the sign. Every sign has a lower energy in a higher energy. And as the sign evolves, they can walk into their higher energy, right? And so if I accidentally mention a certain zodiac sign, I'm not saying that sign is a narcissist, but narcissists typically walk in their lower energies, right? Every sign has the capacity to walk in their lower energies, but the empath evolves, right? So the water signs can be very emotionally manipulative. They manipulate your emotions. Yep. They'll sit there and make you cry and watch you and feed on that energy. We're speaking about the narcissist, not necessarily the exact sign. So how might the earth energies as a narcissist abuse you? The earth energies will use their intellect. They'll outsmart you, yeah? They may abuse you in ways of financial matters, yeah? They may abuse you. They're on top of all the logistics. And they keep the other person out of the logistics. The other person thinks they own part of the house because they're married to the narcissist. The earth sign is ahead of you. The house is in their name. The cars are in their name. The finances, the bank accounts in their name. They're very logistical. They're very analytical. Yeah? And what are those signs? The earth signs are Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. And so if one of these signs is a narcissist, you better believe that they got all their ducks in a row. They're the ones that are going to come in with that prenuptial agreement. Yeah? Earth signs are fairly intelligent. Now you add intelligence with narcissism, and baby, you got a whole ball game going on there. So they're more likely to abuse you when it comes to the logistics of your relationship. They're also more likely, and this is the Virgo energy, they're also more likely to abuse you when it comes to food. Yeah? They'll use food to manipulate you. You look like you put on a couple of pounds. Don't throw that away. Why'd you bring this food in the house? They're manipulative in that aspect, right? Because they're trying to control, they use it as a control mechanism. Right. And because the earth sign is typically intelligent, they might verbally abuse you as well. Say the right thing at the right time or the wrong thing at the right time to make you feel less than. So they use their intellect to abuse you. Air signs, also considered to be quite intelligent, they will verbally abuse you. They will verbally abuse you. They'll say stuff that'll cut to the bone. Yeah? Now, all elements have the capacity to be all of these. Narcissism has the capacity to use all these tools. What I'm sharing with you is which element is most likely to use which tool to abuse you. Yeah? So, fire, verbal abuse. SA, they'll do stuff like sexually assault. That'll be their primary tool, their first go-to to abuse you. They want to abuse your physical body. Yeah? Now, the lower energies of Sagittarius, they'll say some shit that will cut you to the bone you'll never recover from. Right? And they're bullies. The fire energy signs, the lower energies or the narcissistic energy of these signs, they're bullies. They'll bully you. They'll bully children. They'll bully the elderly. They bully anybody weaker than them. Right? They don't too tough run up on nobody that they know is going to whoop their ass. If you got a fire sign narcissist, they'll beat a woman, but when a man approaches them, they run. Those are the lower energies of the fire signs. Yeah? So those are some of the things, those are some of the primary tools that each element might be their go-to. Now, they're all capable of all of them, but their go-to, you got to think about how they think. Fire is physically abusive. Earth is logistically abusive. They're going to be on the logistics. Air, they are going to be verbally abusive. And then water is going to be emotionally abusive. Yeah. So these are the lower energies of each sign, but the narcissist that'll be their primary go-to. I hope that this wasn't too confusing. What I did to wrap it up is I spoke about the different levels of narcissism, because there's different levels. You got the petty narc, you got the mid-grade narc, and you got the ultra narc, right? That mid-grade is the most dangerous to the majority of the empaths. Now, last night I learned on my live, someone shared to me that the ratio empath to narcissism is, let me see, is about, 80-20. Yeah, that's the ratio, with the empaths being the lesser number. Yeah, and so we have more narcissists running this world, than we do empaths. So it's important that the empaths know these different things. Yeah, so you got the lower grade, mid grade, high grade narcissist, and then I shared with you the different elements based off their zodiac signs, how they're more likely, the abusive tactics that they are more likely to use. Now, a whole lot goes into someone's zodiac sign, right? We all have 12 zodiac signs. Depending on which planets are where, I could share with you different things, right? So if Mars is in the 4th house of the home, that means that person is abusive in the home. Now, if they are people who are healthy and they have Mars in the home, now they'll go to war for their family. Like, nobody can't touch their family. They'll go to war for them. But a narcissist with the Mars in the 4th house, they will go to war on their family. You see the difference? So the lower levels of Mars being in the 4th house is they abuse the actual family. The higher levels of Mars being in the 4th house is that nobody can't touch their family. They will go to war for their family. It's that mama bear energy, right? So I want to be clear that I'm not saying certain zodiac signs are certain ways. We all have lower and higher energies. But what I am saying is that I believe that they are more likely to use certain tactics, yeah? Like I said earlier, I hope this wasn't too confusing. And that's what I have for you right now. I want to come back later and talk about the split, the spiritual split that's going on in the world right now, yeah? Well, thank you for tuning into my channel, Closing the Gap. We make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and your spiritual journey. If you like my energy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe drop a comment if you're really feeling my vibe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know the next time I upload. We'll see you later. Have a good week, empaths.